Hey everyone. Um, okay, so I thought I'd like to talk about this idea of decentralization as opposed to centralization and what these two words kind of mean, where they've kind of come from, um, and why is it that we're talking about decentralization again? Let's rewind the clock back a little bit to the beginning of the internet. It was born out of this idea of being a truly open space. Um, and there was once a time when you could actually investigate the entire internet. Okay, you could actually know what was on the entire internet. So it was truly open and truly explorable. You know, there was once a time where you could even download the whole internet. In fact, that has actually been archived somewhere in a computer science museum in San Francisco, which is pretty crazy. Today, you can't download the entire internet. So much of it is held on these massive silos by the FANG companies. You've got your Facebook and Amazon and Apple and Google, and so, when you log on to the internet today, you are effectively logging on to one of five companies. You can't access a lot of information that's actually held there because it's all become, the majority of it's become centralized. What started out as being a particularly decentralized form of communication has slowly headed back towards this system of centralization. So, what is centralization and what is decentralization? Decentralization is not new. We're talking about it today because of a lot of new advancements, but actually, decentralization existed way before centralization. Centralization of systems, of society, is the new way of organizing things, and centralization became really important for agrarian cultures, agrarian societies, because we needed a way to organize mass populations quickly and effectively. Centralization became a very quick way of doing those things. So it was the Industrial Revolution and this massive transformation of the economy into mass scale, because that's the thing. When you've got to organize people in a mass sense, you need something that happens efficiently, that is reliable and effective. So that, in a sense, is why centralization has become so popular. The thing with centralization is, once you get incredibly dependent on it, you start to attract corruption, because that's the fatal flaw of centralization. Once you have a very small amount of people controlling a very large amount of people, that small amount of people tend to operate for their own advantage. You just control the situation to benefit yourself. It's a human reaction to how they want to organize the world. With power from centralization comes corruption. And absolute power corrupts absolutely. It's the way the world seems to roll. So we're talking about decentralization again, in a way, because we're not really seeing benefits of centralization anymore. And the reason we're talking about decentralization again is because we now have the technology to organize mass amounts of people efficiently, fairly efficiently, using network protocol. And actually, this is what the conflict is really about. whether you're talking about the internet or cryptocurrencies, any kind of system existing in law or production that is decentralized, you're actually talking about fundamentally transforming society from a hierarchical system, a system of centralization, to a flat system or a system of decentralization. What I've been aiming to say with this video really is that we're coming to a point in society where we're starting to look at different ways of organizing society. And I believe that actually with this concept of decentralization, which again is not a new concept, it's going to step by step make more sense to more people, because it just takes care of more people, and it's just concerned with the world as a whole, and the system of centralization has forgotten about the world as a whole, and we exist as a global entity, and that global entity really you can't forget one side of that entity, otherwise you're kind of not really benefiting anyone ultimately. And that's why we have these issues with sustainability and real progress, because the systems that we have today just don't incorporate everyone. So anyway, that's what I wanted to say in this video. And if you like, subscribe, and I really hope to see you again in the next video. Cheers everyone, have a great day.